Hey guys, welcome to the Nerd Cave. It's time for Terrainoob's Build and Chat, and we have a very special episode today. Today we have got Terrainaholic with us. Hey Bill, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you, Chris?
I am doing great. I'm really excited to have you here. I'm excited that we could get the video hooked up, and I hope that we have a fairly smooth stream here. We're pushing a lot of stuff back and forth through my pipe, but I think we'll get it. We'll make it work. So,
Awesome.
I'm excited because you are going to show us how to do some really cool stuff today. What are you going to show us, Bill?
I was wondering, I'm working on a swamp table and I've got to make some creepy swamp trees. And while I was at work, I got the idea of aluminum foil and, from Scotty, obviously hot glue. I made this and it's kind of like a mangrove swamp thing.
That is
Cool thing
cool.
is if you flip it around, it actually looks like it can walk.
That's neat.
So, and I've got a bunch of actual wood figures. So, I'm thinking I might actually like at one point put like an actual like wooden like guy. So it looks like it's an actual like monster. So you can go from tree to monster back and forth again.
Well, that's
Um,
excellent.
so yep. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this today.
All right.
The parts that you're going to need are most importantly your hot glue oil, but you're also going to need wax paper um, and some rattle can spray paint of whatever variety that you want to use. Um, and so we'll just take this one step at a time. And you'll need 4 square feet, and it's sold by the foot. I've gotten this box from Dollar Tree. It's so literally it's a buck and it's 40 square feet. So technically, I could make about 10 of these trees out of it.
Cool.
So dime a tree, not too bad.
Well, and I'm gonna play along with you, Bill. So if you guys hear a bunch of extra rustling in the back from
Oh, there's
aluminum
gonna be a lot
foil,
of rustling.
that's me.
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make your trunk. So I'm gonna just take this thing. You don't want to super tightly pack it, but you don't want to be too loose either. So kind of find a happy medium. So I roll it up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to just kind of gently twist and crunch it until I get like that. And then you want to give it some sort of a dynamic look. So I'm going to give it something that looks like that. Okay. So that's the easy part. That's the first one we got to do. So you make this, and after you do that, um, we're gonna cut this into thirds. So about every 4 inches, we're gonna make a cut.
Hey Prodigy, how are you doing? I'm sorry you can't stick around, but I'm glad you popped in to say hi. Hope you have a great night. Prodigy is our artist. She's from Australia, so she
Oh, you
comes
gotta
around.
love that.
Yeah, she comes
Never
around
been
a
to
lot.
Australia. I never liked or didn't like.
Right, exactly.
Super friendly people.
She's an awesome girl and an
Yep.
awesome artist.
And
Okay,
happy.
I've managed to make a huge mess here, and I didn't realize I was going to need more aluminum foil.
I can take over and talk while you're going to get
You,
more.
you,
So,
you
hey
keep
guys.
streaming. I'm going to get aluminum foil. Be right back, chat.
Perfect. Okay. So now this one we're going to use to make these 3 bottom pieces right here. These 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to uh, kind of roll this in half, and we're going to make a nice long piece. And then what we're going to do So we're going to fold that in half, like that. And then we're going to kind of twist it.
Okay, Chad, I'm back.
So what I did is I just made this into a long crinkled tube or a single piece, and I folded it in half, and I made this Y. And then what I'm going to do with this Y is, when it comes to the two upper parts of the Y, I'm going to fold them back on themselves again and give them another kind of a little bit of a twist. And you can have something that looks kind of stumpy and looking like that. And you're going to do this. Actually, did I do that more than that? I think I did it. Well, once we load it up with hot glue, it should be fine. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do that 3 times.
Hot glue fixes everything, right?
Oh, it does. If it's a little bit weak, you just add a little bit more. Not a problem.
And if that doesn't work, hammer and duct tape.
Yep. Duct tape solves everything. Okay, now fold that in half.
Well, I did that all kinds of wrong. I now just have a big lump of aluminum foil.
Save it for your trunk. There's some gnarled parts. The reason that I make these a little bit extra stumpy is because these are going to support the whole structure. So that's the reason for that. I'm just going to go on to my last one.
So this is, I have to say, I've never tried to build trees out of aluminum foil or seen anybody doing this. I think this may be a Terrainaholic original here.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Because this is something I've never seen before.
And if the substructure isn't what you like, don't worry too much about it, because like I said, you're going to be putting hot glue on this thing.
Right.
So there we go. So I've got my 3. Where are you at, Chris?
Well, I am kind of making a mess here.
Like, forge ahead.
I don't think I haven't. I don't think I'm cutting these big enough. That's too tiny.
Okay. Well, that's the beauty of it. You can just make the tree small. That's the thing that's great about trees is no size is wrong. So
This
we'll
is
just
true.
make you'll just be making a smaller one than I'll be making.
That's right.
So this one,
we're just going to do a hobbit tree on this end.
exactly. There you go. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut it into thirds, so about every 4 inches. If you're not sure what 4 inches is, it's pretty much the width of your hand. They measure horses in what's called, because infants' hands are roughly 4 inches wide.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Never bothered to measure my hand. So how's everybody doing in chat tonight? Today, this morning, tonight? It's freaking 10 o'clock in the morning.
Real wide.
Well, there you go. It may be tonight. We get a lot of people from Germany and
Tonight somewhere.
It is.
So now I'm going to do basically the same thing again. I may have actually made the first ones my longs rather than my shorts, which is no big deal. Because like I said, we'll just load up more glue. So we're going to make more Ys. If you want to make these stumpier, go ahead and make them stumpier. If you want to keep them long, keep them long. So like I said, more hot glue will take care of any problems.
So while we're folding aluminum foil here, Bill, the Terrainaholic, is kind of from the wargaming world and does a lot of big table builds.
One or two.
Yeah, one or two. So I saw that lava table you did, man. That was
Thank
trippy.
you.
That was huge. I loved it.
I
What
kind of
was?
couldn't stop.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that it went on forever. What was the base made out of? What do you just plywood?
Um, oh, the base is MDF. Oh, the actual base is the mouse pad. If you go to who makes it? Fat Mat. I think it's a Fat Mat. They utilize huge sheets of mouse pad, and they put these just amazing patterns on them.
Oh
And the
wow,
moment I saw that lava one, I'm like, I've got that. So that was, I think, one of the first mats I purchased.
cool.
Do you use any mouse pads, or do you do like your own? Do you use cloth, or I don't know what you use?
I don't typically make tables that big, so when I'm doing stuff, if I the biggest bases I have are going to be like about a foot by 2 foot.
Oh, so yeah,
So
tiny.
yeah, I just use either foam or some MDF board depending on what I'm trying to build, but I don't
Hmm.
typically have to, and it's easy to decorate because I don't have a lot of surface area that I have to go over.
Right, right, which is awesome.
That's a little bit
Okay.
different for you.
Yeah, yeah. I go to like Joann Fabrics now. The only thing that's hard is most tables are technically 4 feet wide, and the material comes in 42 instead of 48 inch, so
Oh,
doesn't always work. This is a Terrainoob idea, by the way. One of the problems that we're going to start hot collective that's having a clear surface put on it, and we're going to test out this idea of hitting with black to make it a little bit easier to see what we're doing. Now on this one, I'm going to do two bigger Ys essentially. So I'm going to just cut it in half instead of thirds. And that's going to give us a lot more meat to these limbs. Yeah, this folds beautifully. This is great. It's
cool.
been good and everything. I thought for sure I was going to have little flakes.
Yeah, doesn't seem to be flaking off too bad.
No, no, not at all. And then this one, I'm going to just, again, I'm going to kind of fold it in half and then make your lower stem a little bit shorter so that the arms can be a little bit longer. These are going to be on the upper part of the tree. And when you're doing like mangrove trees, uh, it's not a big deal to have even the lower branches going into the ground bigger than your upper branches because it gives you that you're going for that weird look. This is not something that you're doing for trying to be realistically accurate, going for a whimsical kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to be realistically accurate, you'd go out in the yard and get some sticks.
Exactly. Thought about doing that. And then I
But this
live in
is way
Illinois
cooler.
where everyone is weird. So, okay. Now, now we get to the dangerous part.
All right, this is the place I love to burn my hands.
Exactly. So, um, you want to take your parchment paper and you want to bring it closer. And what we're going to do, just to keep it safe, we're going to do these all the same way. We're going to hold the bottom part of the Y, and we're going to hot glue the upper part and I'll show you the pattern that I use. Um, but you can use whatever pattern you want. The main thing is just pay attention to where the hot bits are, and don't feel like you got to do the whole thing. The whole reason we're bringing the wax paper is just so it can have time to cool, and then we can safely put glue in the other places that we need to. The place that I start off with is I go right to where the Y is, and I try and get that situated. That's the only thing that I do on both sides to start with, because it kind of locks in that structure. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to just do one side, and I'm going to just cover that one side in glue. And you can just work one branch at a time. And remember, just if anything unexpected happens, just drop it and keep your hands away from it.
Yes, please.
And
Or even better, get you some of these gloves, because I'm
there
dropping
you
this
go.
stuff all over my hands and it's not hurting this time.
There
Jack.
you go. That's experience talking.
You betcha.
So I'm just covering the other side now.
Okay, so I'm going to say for this project, a low temp hot glue gun is probably going to work a lot better than this high temp I've got, because this glue is so liquid that it's just kind of dropping off.
Okay. The thing is you want to put thin enough layer that it doesn't do that. And then I'm just going from here, I'm just going onto the wax paper. And then all I'm doing is just rinsing and repeating this whole process. So this is kind of like brickwork, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get yourself set up, you get some nice music playing, and then just keep on filling.
Keep on keeping on.
Right. Yeah, one of the advantages, we talked a lot before this live stream. So one of the reasons for the aluminum is it's going to give it flexibility. So if I don't like the way the branches are going, I can just bend it later on in the build to whatever shape, whatever looks aesthetically pleasing.
Right. So it's just kind of a armature for the hot glue.
Exactly.
Really.
Yep. Exactly. And depending on where you get your aluminum, Dollar Tree, this is at 40 feet and about 4 feet per tree. It's like a dime a tree. So it's really mostly costing you nothing but time and effort.
Right.
Which is what I love about the hobby of terrain making. There are so many hobbies out there that are expensive. Thank God terrain making is relatively inexpensive.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, most of this expense that I have is just in the tools that I use. The materials are nothing.
Yeah. That's what I love the most about terrain making is, I mean, if I drop $30 for a sheet of 2-inch thick high density foam, the amount of terrain I can make out of that is insane.
Yeah.
Guys go out and burn $30 just going to the bar.
Yeah. Exactly. So are you trying to get this glue thin enough that some of the texture from the aluminum comes through? Or is the glue mainly the texture?
And like I said, this is a brand new technique, so we're learning together. I've just done a dry run once.
Cool.
The thing that I like about having a little bit less is that it gives you a much creepier surface. It makes it look like it's infested with like worms or rot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to get that look, that's great. The only thing is you want to make sure you got enough on there that you're giving it support.
Right.
And the thing is I have no idea what the large end result on this may or may not be because we were talking about it. I'm thinking wire, uh, just slipping a hunk of copper wire in there would probably give you more than enough strength to go bigger because ultimately I kind of want to do like the EY and I want to do have a lot of like bridge work over the swamp going through the trees from time to time, mostly over islands, but um, don't worry if because when you lift these back up, where the glue is touched, it's going to become flat there.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that because you can just hit it with the glue again over the flat spot, and it'll go right back to looking, um, natural. Trees don't have like flat spots on them. I get it, but
Unless you.
it's an easy fix.
Yeah. Okay. So my first branch that I glued here, I think I put too much glue on it.
That's okay because it's
But
going to almost look like flesh, which is really creepy.
yeah, it is. My problem is it's.
Yeah, once you hit that with spray paint and all that smoothness comes through, it's almost like muscle because you've got the aluminum foil bumps underneath it that give it that kind of weird gnarled look, and then when you get the super glue uh, going over the top, which is kind of like the smoothness of the skin, it gets a really kind of neat effect.
Yeah. This is looking pretty gnarly here.
Yeah, and that's what you want. That's what you're going for. These are Halloween trees. These are not Christmas trees,
No.
unless they're really sick Christmas trees.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
Kind of like that one Halloween. Remember that movie where it's Halloween like every day? It was an old stop motion movie.
No, I
It
don't.
was like before Halloween or something like that. And
Oh.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, with Jack Skellington.
Uh
Um,
huh.
the and they kidnapped Santa Claus
I think you're right. Yeah,
because
yeah.
he didn't want Halloween anymore. He wanted to be in charge of Christmas. Oh,
Gotcha.
I can't think of the name of that movie, but yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas. That's it.
That's what it was. Yup. Good memory.
I keep gluing my glove to these trees.
Well, better than burning your hand.
That's true. These
Gloves
gloves
are
have definitely
replaceable.
saved
Not
my
so
hand today.
much. I can just see it now. You burn your hand. Oh, Bill's not going to be a jerk. Told him all about burning my hand. So what does he do? He project
What
burn
can
my
we do with
hand.
hot glue?
That evil man.
uh,
And I am down to my trunk. Yes, you are going to get hand cramps doing this. That's the reason why I have it on high. So it's a little easier for me to squeeze the trigger.
yep.
Okay. And same thing again, you're gonna want to keep a spot where you're safe with your hand, and then just work the rest of it.
Man, this is a lot of glue going on here.
It is, yeah. The glue is probably your most expensive material
Yep,
with this project.
for sure.
Now I know they used to have special um, areas at Hobby Lobby, like plant area. You could get the bigger bags of hot glue sticks for cheaper, but
Yep.
I think they got wise to that and stopped doing that. But still, with 40% off, you can. Was it like $5 for a bag of like 50?
Yeah,
So you
something
can
like
get it
that. They're
for
not
like
bad.
3.
I'll typically order mine off because we got Amazon Prime. So with free shipping, I'll order mine off Amazon, and you get a big bag of them for pretty cheap.
Nice.
So,
I didn't know they sold it in quantities like that.
oh yeah,
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, anytime you can buy bulk and you're a crazy terrain dude like me,
it's something you want to
yeah,
do.
it's gonna go a long way. And because what we're doing is messy, if right hand, just go to your left hand. There's no tight skill. We're not carving foam or anything.
True. Or you could just be like me and be ambidextrous.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, for some things, I can do a lot of crafting stuff with either hand without any issues. I can't
That's
write with my other hand though. I'm actually naturally left-handed, but I cannot write with my right hand to save my life.
You know what's funny is yeah, a lot of people that are very good with both hands are normally lefties. And
Yep.
because the world is designed for right-handed people, they're going to have much stronger offhand skills with their right hand than we are with our left hand.
Yep. Because we have to figure out how to live in the right-handed world.
Exactly. Okay, so now, if you're smart, um,
Wait, is that a requirement? Cause
yeah, right. Well, when I set things up, and I probably should have said this, you wanna set things up in an order of where you put your first piece down and where you put your last piece down, because your first piece now is going to probably be cold. So, and sure enough, pluck it off. It's nice and cool, and that's how it's like with painting as well. When you're painting 10 figures, you go through and you paint. Your first fig, put it down. When you're done with one, you pick up your first one, it's ready to go for your next color.
right,
So
exactly.
same basic concept here. Now, if you want things to look if you can look at it and you want things to look kind of creepy and you kind of see spots, it's going to give you some really, I don't know if this is going to show, but the rough spots that you're seeing right now is areas where there's less hot glue.
Mm.
So if you want more of that, um, don't worry about covering up spots that you've missed. If you want to cover more, obviously feel free. I'm just covering where the only thing I'm doing is just completely encasing this in at this point.
Wait.
You want to start off in a new location so you know when these are cooled down.
playing along, chat? Because you know what we say here. It's fine, chat. If you mess up, it's fine, chat.
Oh,
it's all fine.
That's normal terrain building.
That's the most fun part of it.
Oh yeah, you learn more from your mistakes than just, fighting your way through a build. I've come up with whole techniques that I've been able to utilize through my screw ups.
Yep.
So screw ups are a good thing in terrain building.
So Bill, how did you get started in the terrain building? What got you into it?
I made the mistake of opening up a white dwarf. Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
Okay. Made that mistake, and I'm like, that is unbelievable. I have to do that.
Yeah.
And I started off in 15 millimeter fantasy. Most people don't even know that exists. And the whole thing was I was going to be so smart. Because then when you go to a 25 millimeter fig, it's a monster. So like a goblin immediately becomes ogre.
Right.
So and the figures at that point were less than half to half as expensive.
Right.
And you could have bigger battles because your figures were so much smaller. Because when it's half the size, it's only one mass. So everything becomes easier, like the terrain building, because a cat like a house.
Yeah.
And it's just makes better, but nobody plays in 15 millimeter. Find out later on, right?
Yeah,
So
not
you
for
end
the
up doing
fantasy
20
stuff.
millimeter anyway. Especially like when you look at like accessories for terrain building is almost exclusively 28 mil.
Yep. Hey, Fairy Bard, how are you doing today? So, Fairy Bard is one of the originators of the Pringlemancer diaries.
Oh, cool. Yes, I was told about this. Gotta love the fluff.
Yep. So, Fairy Bard, we're going to have to get... The Pringlemancer got his keys last week. Yeah, it does. He's one of my favorite dudes. So we are, he got his keys last week, but we got to get him some furnishings now.
Oh, and don't worry about wisps, guys, because these are going to rub off at the end.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, once this is cold, that'll all go away.
Big pantry for all the Pringles. Yepers. Alright, so I've got a big old mess here.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. That's typically the way my builds go.
Yeah.
I have a big old mess, and then all of a sudden something comes out of it.
Exactly. You birth terrain from it.
Right.
It's like the movie Aliens. You got this slime, and all of a sudden, hey, got a monster.
Right. Where'd that come from? I don't know, that guy's stomach?
Probably. No. Okay, so everything now it's been hot glued. I just finished up the trunk. Oh. Should have waited till that dry. No big deal.
Don't you glue your fingers?
Not yet. No. Mark my words.
Yeah, chat. I had to.
Get away unscathed. Okay, so now I can go back to my first one. So, while that tree trunk's drying, I'm going to go through and clean up the first branch.
Just hitting the bottom where you were holding it.
Right, right.
Okay, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. Only problem is I'm working with the trunk, so I gotta wait till the trunk is. What I can do though is I can go through and just tear off all the wisps.
So, see, your area looks nice and neat, and mine just looks like I threw up
I
aluminum foil
can't
and hot
see
glue.
my desk downstairs. I should bring this downstairs and show you my. I can barely tell you the color of my desk. You ever have that where you're working and you got like you start off with a clean desk and then you're working and then you just have less and less and less space and then pretty soon you've got a huge desk that's like a 2 foot by 4 foot work area and you're working in 1 square
Yeah, that's kind of how I am
all
now.
all the time.
Of course, I've got a little bit of a different problem too, in that half of this desk is taken up by streaming equipment.
Yes, yeah, that's a requirement. Can't get away from that one.
So, chat, this is for those of you who have just come in. We've got Terrainaholic here with me, and he is a major war game table maker. Does a lot of the big war game stuff, and he's hanging out with us today. We're building some aluminum trees. We're learning a new thing that he came up with, and so far I'm making a huge mess of it, but
That'll just be a prettier tree,
I think my chat is used to that. They watch me make messes every week.
right?
But yeah, Bill's got a lot of cool videos, and he's kind of the official interviewer of the crafting nation here. He interviews everybody.
Yeah, over
Like-
the years, I've had quite a bit.
And he like I saw you had a video not too long ago where you interviewed the president of Mantic Games, Ronnie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a
And,
couple interviews with him. Finally got to do one with Mel because Mel is from England. He's the train tutor,
Yeah.
and he came over for Adepticon, so that was a real treat. I love it. I love Adepticon because you get people from all over the world showing up. You know, people from Australia, just all over the place. Tons of
Right.
people from England, which is kind of funny because it's you think it's a big deal, but wargaming is such a big thing over there. You know, it's there's I won't say there's as many of them as there are of us. But there's quite a few.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now that everything's cooled down, I'm going to find my 3 smallest guys, and those are going to be the bottom of the I think they're called mangrove swamp trees. They're the ones where the roots kind of extend down into the water, and then the tree kind of grows up out of that.
Oh right.
So-
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing this, I try and go for like a really interesting shape, kind of like a bonsai tree, kind of where it's got like a wavy S kind of thing going on. So I'm going to, I envision the trunk going like this. So I want to, first one I'm going to want to kind of support it. So I'm going to bend it and semi-bendy, and we can kind of force things later on. But my first pieces, I'm going to go like this. So what I do is I'll put down hot glue here first, and then I'll attach this to that, and you want to just be patient here. Just hold against it. Don't worry about glue squirting out amongst the seam, because we're gonna fill that seam in. Because you want to make it look organic, like it's going into itself, and so you're gonna build up a lot of ridges and stuff in the meantime. Now it's holding strong enough that I can actually get in here and do a little more work. So I'm gonna try and fuse the shape to that shape. Yeah, I've already gone through about 4 or 5 glue sticks. So
Yeah, I'm on my 4th one here.
going through them at an alarming rate, it's normal. So here's where you can either wait or just be very aware of where your hands are. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this some more, and then I'm going to go to my next location. It's going to be like, a hex. Pretty much you're going to want to have equal distance between all of these different shapes here. So I'm going to go like that.
It's the first time I've really used hot glue for sculpting.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I've seen so many videos of Scotty just building stuff literally out of, this, and I've been in it for 10 years, and I've done.
Yeah, it's kind of fun actually. When you've got a glove and don't,
Burn
cook your
yourself,
hand.
right? Yeah, we've all burned ourselves. Not that it's a good thing, it's just kind of a byproduct of the hobby.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm gonna go to the last one. Go
I have got a weird looking tree here.
The weirder it is, the cooler it will look in the end.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing
Exactly.
with
That's the
texture and
weirdest part.
stuff.
Right. Everything kind of is transparent, reflective, and it does get really, really weird. I will not lie.
This is really all right. Look, so see, I've got this kind of mess going on. Well, we'll see how it looks after it gets some paint on it.
That's the thing, it's going to look really weird. It's going to be kind of interesting.
Yep.
And it'll
So
give
far,
you ideas on what you can do later on as well.
right.
If you have any noticeable gaps, try and fill those in, because like I said, we're going for an organic look here
Uh-huh.
as much as we can with aluminum foil
Right.
and hot glue. These are really organic things, yeah.
Well, you do what you can.
Yep. So now that's what I've got. Yours is very robust.
It is. Mine's a little
I like it. I like it.
weird.
You're getting a lot out of your build there.
That's one way to put it.
Yep. Yep. So I've got that. Now you're gonna want to cool this down because I'm gonna be getting really close to where um, the uh, the hot glue is that went into these uh, substructures that the tree's standing on.
Cool. Yeah.
Um,
So I didn't. All right. So my thing here is I didn't make
that
my
looks cool.
I didn't make mine quite tall enough up here. I mean, different kind of tree. It's fine and all, but
Mhm.
the other thing I've run into now is if you don't get them all kind of the same length and they're too
Right.
short, you don't have any kind of it's too hard to bend this short to get this straightened
It
out so
is.
that it sits flat.
Yep.
So
Yep.
learning.
Right. Well, I put a lot more glue on this one that I did on this one. And one of the things that you beautifully pointed out is the fact that, yeah, it is a lot stiffer.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's
went
where maybe an armature may be more useful.
right.
Um, Now, once we get, like, you can kind of see that mine is coming up in this weird kind of going off the side thing.
Uh-huh.
I've got an extra one of these that I can place down to support that later on.
Right.
So that's kind of the reason for that one coming off that way. And it also just makes it look just really creepy and weird, and that's the feel we're going for.
Yeah. Oh, I think you gave me an idea for a
So,
fix here.
yep. So now, basically, um, I keep one of these to be my long support, uh, to to hold up when it starts growing out to one side. And now just figure out where you want your branches. You're gonna want to find different. You probably don't want to go like right up the trunk and then just put them all in a circle right around. Boom, ta-da. You want it to kind of come out at weird positions differently, so it looks a little more natural.
Right.
So try and keep some height distance, and definitely 360 degrees. You want them to fully pretty much around the trunk. So I'm gonna go here. Go like that.
I think my tree is going to be pretty messed up, but I'm thinking I'm kind of liking pretty messed up for this thing.
Well, they're not pretty trees.
Nope.
These are gnarly trees.
And there will be no foliage on this thing. Well, maybe some vines or something.
That's the thing too. You don't have to use foliage.
Yep.
There's tons of swamp trees that are like they're like dead, and they just look fantastic in different shades of gray and white.
Yep. I love a good spooky nasty tree.
Alright, so now I want
Oh, dry stupid glue.
I know that's the thing. The wait time is killer.
Ooh, fungus fairy board. That's a good idea. Be fun to put some like fungus, like those round like half moon shaped things that you see coming out of the side of trees.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
That would be cool looking.
Yep, yep.
I like when Fairy Bard comes on the channel. She's got all kinds of good ideas that I steal.
That's the thing. Absolutely. There's a saying, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Yep.
I have stolen quite a bit in my day. Ooh.
I must be a fantastic artist then.
Right, right.
Oh, we got barky puppers today. We do a lot of dog sitting, and
Oh,
yeah, that's what my wife does for a living. And
nice.
we've got some new puppers this weekend that we haven't had before. And one of them, well, they're both kind of barky, but one of them, every time there's a sound anywhere, she goes bananas. Sweet.
And it was your big old mouth that made her do it.
Oh.
She heard a man.
Hey, sweetie. Hey. You want to come up here and say hi? Come here. You come up here and say hi?
Good girl. Get him. Get him.
There you go. Hey.
Oh, come here.
She went
go
away.
Go get him. Come here.
Come get me.
Come here.
Where'd she go?
Get him.
Come here. Come here. Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Well, there she was real quick, but
You want to show yourself? We gotta stop.
she's being a little shy today.
How's Daddy?
How many puppers? We got 2 today. 2 puppers.
Yeah, these aren't nearly as flexible as that I had earlier. So
Yeah, I've noticed that because I did some heavy glue on some and some light glue on the others. The heavy glue, you can flex it, but it bounces right back to where it was.
back. I'm gonna try a test right now because I'm having the same problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it at a more extreme angle, and I'm gonna fill the tip of the Y going into the tree with hot glue, and I'm going to hold it and see if that alters the angle for me. Kind of like fighting fire with fire. I'll use the hot glue to force it to bend against the other glue that was forcing it to go straight.
Right.
And it worked. Beautiful.
Cool.
So that trick works. I may not need a weird limb coming out of the base of this.
Well, I've got a very strange shape going here, but
Well, that's what's going to make it interesting.
I think I'm kind of liking it. Let's see here. I'll let you see, chat, and you can tell me what you think. So I've got this really weird thing going on here. So it kind of...
Oh, I like it. Yeah, that's cool.
kind of going off to the side there, and it's got one little dead guy, and then some lonely boys up here. Still it's kind of weird to it's hard to tell until I paint it what it's actually gonna look like.
Yeah,
Because I think
it'll
the
look
structure
very
is,
fleshy.
yeah, the structure is gonna look much different than this, I think, once it gets painted.
Yeah.
Because I can't see a lot of the glue.
Right. And that's what makes it so cool, is because it's like it's a surprise even to the artist.
Love it.
Yep.
You hear that, chat? If you want surprises, use hot glue on top of aluminum.
I may just use my support piece as just another limb. Now, you'll notice on this one, I've got like where the top of the tree just kind of stopped because that was the end of the trunk. I'm thinking about using that as a perch for like an archer or something.
Oh, neat.
And I've got the same thing going on with this one, where it's got that nub right there. Because all you'd have to do is take like a couple of broken popsicle stick pieces and just
Yep.
paint them up to look like boards, and then just glue it to that, and you've got a tree perch now. So
Right.
if you want like the Robin Hood surprise attack thing going on, bang.
Yeah. So just by way of comparison, this is that tree I told you I made out of toilet paper.
Oh, show me.
So this is
Oh, that's pretty.
this is all just toilet paper. What's nice about
Oh, that's
this
super
stuff
cool.
is that because the toilet paper is actually made out of wood fiber, you get good texture from it. But I'm really interested to see how this ends up comparing to that, because like you said, this is going to be more of a fleshy type of
Right.
thing. So I think
Like a
for
smooth muscle kind of thing.
yeah, so for like a spooky fantasy setting, undead type of area, I think
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be way more fitting than something like this. I mean, this is good for your average cemetery look,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well, they both look good for different reasons,
right,
in my
this
opinion.
this is going to be a kind of a fun undead tree.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm interested to see how this turns out. What do you think, chat? In fact, I may do some painting on this to kind of make it more fleshy.
Sure. Absolutely.
That could be fun. And really bring out some of the goo in it. How about
Right.
that, chat? Like a tree that's fleshy and actually bleeds.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
We'll do that.
That's that's a slick idea right there.
Because as the glue is, since I've put on so much glue, what's happening is a lot of the glue is kind of dropping down and kind of sagging and stuff.
Right.
And so it just looks like melting flesh or goo or something.
Yep. Yep. Got that whole chaos thing going on. Exactly.
Kind of liking that. So, oh yeah, so we're almost dry. I think I'm about to the point of just bombing this thing. Get some of these wisps off.
Yeah.
What do you think, chat? Should I go ahead and just bomb it?
Now my question is, I don't know. I want to go creepy, extra long limb, or kind of do, but I could also go
See, I
with
like that. I kind of like that sticking off the side there, where it's like
yeah,
this
yeah.
whole, like an
I might
almost
just
extra
make like an
tree.
extra one. I'm thinking I might just make like an extra one real quick and just add it on.
Yeah. But I kind of like that when you had it sitting off the
That
side
aesthetic,
there,
yeah.
it kind of looked like it was walking.
Right, right, exactly.
That looked kind of cool. Well, this is going to be an interesting interesting looking tree. Poor little
Different,
thing.
right?
My poor little stumpy tree.
I might make an extra limb just because.
Hey, why not? It's cheap, right?
Yeah, I mean it's.
Oh, that's cool looking. I like that.
it's kind of neat because you can go in any direction.
So did pre-bombing that aluminum foil, did that help? Was that easier to see the glue, or not so much?
Oh, you'll see everything once you spray paint it. You'll see places you missed. You'll see places that you used way more glue than you anticipated. It
Right.
reveals everything.
Oh yeah.
This isn't a bad thing.
No. And honestly, it's. I mean, I'm okay with a bunch of weird. I missed it here, and here's some extra garbage,
Right.
because I'm not
And
trying
it's
to make.
easy to fix too, because you're just gonna re-glue areas that you didn't get as much as you wanted to, and then you just hit it with the spray paint again.
Right. So did it help having the black paint on there ahead of time?
Um, yeah, it did, but the problem is when you twist it, some of the aluminum foil side comes out.
Right.
I would try it yourself. Like if you do this again, give it a shot and just
See how it rolls.
exactly, yeah. Okay, I want to make 2 more limbs. Because this one's way bigger. My first one I used less glue and I twisted it tighter. And this one I used a lot looser of a twist and a lot more glue.
Mm-hmm.
So the volume I'd say is probably 30% bigger.
Oh. Uh-oh, chat. I just had an idea. You know how dangerous that is for me.
Well, what is it? What do you got?
I'm actually going to sculpt a little face on this tree.
Oh, there you go.
A tree-ish face, because if I'm going to make this thing fleshy and bleeding, it's got to have a spooky face, right?
Well, the great thing is if you got a ton of minis you really don't care about, just lop that head right off, attach it to that tree, green stuff a little bit around it to, make it appear on it. And if you don't see the face texture, all you need to do is a little bit of object source lighting. Do like some yellow for the eyes, and then do a dry brush of yellow over the eye area, and it'll draw the eye right.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to use some aluminum foil and glue to sculpt a face in here.
Oh, you're doing it the hard way. Oh man.
Well, because I want the face to be kind of big,
Sure.
like half the trunk. So.
Oh, you're going for one of those faces.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like the tree is alive.
Sure. Absolutely.
Or kind of alive. Looks like it should be alive.
Love it. I think that's a genius idea right there.
We'll see how this do. Could be a complete mess, or it could be a genius move. You just never know.
Well, the neat thing is if it only partially works, it's actually optimal, because it's kind of camouflaged into the thing, and then once the characters actually get close enough to see the face, it's like way too late.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it look like it's part of the tree, but there's still this hint of a face there.
Yep. That's brilliant.
So far, it's kind of working.
Yeah, I've never tried that.
Well, I'll try it for you, and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. How are you sculpting it, so to speak?
Well, so what I did is I just got I had a little bump of aluminum foil that had this little thing sticking out, and I said, oh, that kind of looks like a nose. So I just had
Oh,
this
there
little
you
bump,
go.
stuck it on there, and then I made two little circles for eyes, and I'm just kind of sculpting around it with trying to blend it in with the tool, the hot glue, and we'll see
Nice.
how that do. I mean, like I said, could be a colossal mistake, but I'm pretty hopeful, actually.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, sometimes just getting half of the concept across is stronger than getting the whole concept across.
Right.
That one there.
Just be careful not to fill in the eyes. And make this whole face look kind of droopy and melty and bleh.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Chet? Is this a bad idea? Is it going to turn out good or what? Spooky face. That's right.
Yours is just beefy, dude. That is awesome.
It is a beefy tree, that's for show. I like yours though because it's got that. It actually looks like it's actually walking. It's got some motion to it.
Yeah, I try and get as much. And when I went to school and learned a little bit of art, there's a thing called a contrapposto. It's the S shape that's associated with the human form when we're kind of relaxed, and it's like it's the bonsai tree thing,
Right.
you know. I like a lot of sideways. I like a lot of exaggeration motion to what I'm doing. Okay, you.
Okay, Chad, I've got lots of clumps, huge amounts of glue there, so we're going to wait for that to dry. Let's get back to what Bill's doing. Yeah, I mean, it almost looks spidery. I can see that thing actually walking.
Yeah, yeah. Which is, I mean, we're at Halloween and there's like table mats that are like actually have like the fabric is literally webbed.
Yeah.
If you want to do this as like a haunted forest, this is the perfect time of year to go out and get, because you could literally almost use webbing as your foliage to really make it extra creepy.
You gave me another idea, Bill.
I hate it when I do that.
This stream could go on for days.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that stuff is upstairs. Hold on. All right, chat away, Bill. I'll be gone for a minute.
Not a problem. Like right now, I found a flat spot. So what I'm doing is I'm just covering over that flat spot to get rid of it. And then I can just lay it right back down on there. And I'm guessing in about 30 to 40 seconds, these may be able to be utilized. And then you look for, what would look good having a branch here, and being asymmetrical, and if you don't know what asymmetrical means, it's just uneven or unbalanced. Asymmetrical is probably a better look.
All right, chat. Bill just gave me an idea. And he might be sorry that he did. So, I've got some this cotton batting stuff.
Oh, nice.
So I'm thinking this is a good thing to flock it with.
Absolutely.
Greenery. It looks, because it'll be spider webby.
Yep. Also, this time of year, sometimes you can pick up packs of like super small spiders.
Yep.
And you can literally just glue them on to the tree.
Exactly.
You know, they're typically black, and you just, boom, done.
The other thing I could do is I've got the box of skulls.
Oh, you got that too?
Yeah,
Yes.
the 3 million skulls in here.
Exactly.
So you could take something like this and just put skulls all over it.
Sure. I picked up a 3D pen a while back, and I drew up the body of a flying ghost, and then I went in my bits box and I just got a left and a right hand and a skull. Actually, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
This is one of those skulls.
Oh.
And it's got a butcher knife and a dagger. And then I used some Herstarts block and a piece of see-through plexiglass. And that's the substructure.
That's cool.
And there's a ghost flying through the looking to kill stuff.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah, it was fun. They're very, very fragile when you make stuff with 3D pen, unless you super build it up, kind of like we're doing. Except they'll typically do it in a web format where they just string it across two parallel sections,
Right.
and then that's kind of how they weave a shape, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think are cool enough. Awesome. So I can go right into the next. Do this.
Sorry, Chad. I'm just checking all the technical stuff here. Make sure we're rolling okay. Seems to be. What do you think, Chad? Is this coming through okay? This is a setup I've never tried before, so it's kind of an experimental stream here too. Oh, that looks creepy. Oh, I'm gonna like this. Oh, chat. So I'm gonna throw some. Start throwing some black on this thing, and let's see what it starts to look like. Especially the face. I'm really interested to see how this comes out. I mean, it'd probably be easier for to take this outside and spray it, but then you can't see the wonderful surprises that show up when I paint it.
That's where that.
Oh, Chad, I'm liking this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get some reds and flesh tones kind of in here, I think. That's going to be the way to go with this one.
Yeah, I think it'll lend itself really well to that.
Because I can already feel there's a lot more smoothness here than a tree would actually have.
Right. Exactly.
Which, you know, if I'd have spent more time with sculpting with the hot glue, that probably would not be true, but I kind of like that it's coming out this way.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Chad? Is that going to be a good creepy face? I think that's coming out all right. It's kind of hard to see when it's all black over the camera. But in real life, once it gets highlighted stuff, I think that's going to be good.
Yeah, you'll be surprised at what you see. It's not what you're going to expect necessarily.
Right. Probably actually going to turn out better than I expect because I'm not expecting a whole lot from my first one of these.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, the first one's always the learning one.
Yeah. Like, make these a little longer and less chunky next time, I think.
Sure. But the thing is that bulkiness will actually make that face look more appropriate, I think.
I think so, yeah. I think you're right. So, one thing that I've been wanting to ask you for like many, many years, and just so you guys, just so you know, chat, Terrainaholic was one of the first two terrain channels that I ever subscribed to when I was learning to do this stuff. It was him and the Kamloopian. There was a guy from Canada who's not around anymore, which is a shame because that guy was just brilliant.
He was such a cool guy to watch.
Yeah, he was really fun, and he was just brilliant about terrain making, and I still use a lot of techniques from him.
Mm-hmm.
But Terrainaholic was there from the beginning too. He's been doing this longer than I have, and
About 10 years.
yeah, he was one of the ones that I first started learning from. So one of the things I've been wanting to ask you for a long time is, what is your favorite piece of terrain that you ever did?
Oh.
Which I know that's over 10 years. That's what, 8 million pieces of terrain that I'm asking you about?
It's a lot. There was a build that I made for a lady called Joellen, and it's still probably the biggest single structure I ever made. And if you look up Terrainaholic Egyptian, I think it was basically as if Egypt never declined. Their architecture went into almost like the modern age, and I made an open-sided, multi-tiered pyramid with two kind of long building arms coming out with a sphinx in the very middle of the courtyard. And in the center of the pyramid, there's a giant pool with a pharaoh's head that goes up to like the second or third level. You could literally be standing on like the second level tier and look directly into like the pharaoh's face. And it was, I want to say it was about long by about 3 feet tall by about
Wow.
3 or 4 feet wide.
So this
And
one
it all
here,
came
huh?
apart in sections. What's that?
Waiting for it to come. I think I found the vid. This thing?
Nope, that's one of the many.
Oh.
I made a lot of Egyptian tables.
Ah.
That's another one I made for Joellen. That was a lot of fun. Everything's modular. You want to, I like multiple setups. I don't like the idea of my table this one thing. I always want my tables to do double or triple duty.
Right. Well, if you're going to spend that long making them.
Exactly. Where would I put you? I think we're gonna put you. here. But yeah, I've got a lot of different name, but I've always had something about civilizations that are very grandiose in their structures, like like the Mayans
Right.
and stuff like that. They're just super cool in my mind. Just the
Yeah, I agree.
scope
Those
we
big.
build in.
I usually don't have the patience to do that big of stuff, though. I could do one of those
it's an
buildings,
endurance
but
contest.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of these are terrain building is more or less by the time you're done with it, you can't stand it anymore. You put 40 hours into something, and oh god, so that's one of the things that I admire about you. You like to do detail work,
right.
whereas that is not one of my strong suits.
Yeah, you do the other side of things, which is the big block work, which I don't like.
Yeah,
That for me
that's
is no fun.
much more my forte. But the detail work is really what blows people away when they really come up and inspect it. You can get someone to walk across the room with overall structure and mass, but what makes a person really sit there and really observe it and check it out, that's the detail work side of it.
Right. Well, and that's I think that's kind of typical of terrain builders. Most of them either like one side or the other.
Yeah, yeah. Or at least, yeah, right, favor one.
Right. Because I'm
Because
not.
like, you doing shingled roofs, it's like, there's a plane in hell that's just doing brickwork,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, that's actually my relaxing spot.
Oh God, I wish I could say that. People say that they find like painting figures relaxing. It is so unnerving to me. Um, I am not that kind of person that can do that sort of thing. Tell you what, I'm gonna go downstairs. I got some brown spray paint. I'm gonna blast this and let's see what detail pops out.
Cool.
All right.
So while he's doing that, chat, we'll have a peek at what's coming out here. This is looking pretty decent once the paint starts getting matte. A lot of detail is starting to come out. It's kind of hard to see when it's still wet and glossy, but the when the matte's coming out, like this face, I'm pretty happy with that. That's looking pretty cool, even without the highlighting and stuff. Just a flat black. So I think I'm pretty excited about this thing. Actually, I wasn't holding out much hope at first because it was my first one, but this is getting to be kind of a cool little tree with some story in it now, and it's way different than other trees I've built, so it's kind of fun to see all this new stuff coming together. Right, chat? Right, Terrainoob? You're always right, Terrainoob, because it's your channel and we can't tell you different. Well, that's right, chat. You just know that, chat, that I'm always right. Well, okay, I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong. So, right, chat. Is that how it work? It's how I do. Alright, we're about to get black paint on our hands. Don't worry, chat. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. Look, you get it on your hands, then you go wash it off. It's fine. It's fine, chat. thing even feels creepy. It feels all slick and gooey. So how's this format working, chat? Is it good having Bill on here doing something different? Is that a fun thing? And is the stream coming through all right? You got to let me know, chat. You have to tell me or I don't know these things, you know? I'm just getting black all over this thing. Slimy, oozy, sappy blood. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I'm...
Alright, it's kind of wet, but there it is.
Oh, let's see. Neat. Huh, that went a lot faster than what I'm doing, Bill.
Oh my god, yeah, I can't imagine. You like detail work.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do something with the stability of this thing on the bottom. I'm gonna have to put some kind of base or something on it, because I built it a little funky, but that's cool. I don't mind putting a base on it.
Or just make... Did you do the mangrove swamp? Yeah. Bring yours back up so I can see what you got.
So I got this thing. It's a little tilty though. So I've got to get some bits under here. But I actually kind of would almost like to base this, just because I think it's more, for me, this is more of an iconic tree than it would be a set type thing.
Sure.
So if I base it, I can actually get it sitting up like on a rock or something, so that the face is straight. Because right now, if I set it down like it is,
sure,
the face is crooked. Yep. But if I do this, I can get it like holding on, look like it's holding on to a rock. And
exactly. Yep.
And then he's, yeah, exactly, Fairy Bard. He could be his whole encounter all by his lonesome, which I may do, because we're going to start doing next year sometime, the next 10 months or so, I am going to DM a campaign of homebrew stuff, and I am going to start in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start a new series where we go through and we do all the world building and stuff together, and we can just, you know, hang out, chat about it, and I'll probably put a Discord section up for it. But I'm going to do all the world building, and you know, we'll design. I've already got a basic idea, but we can, you know, design the NPCs, design the organizations, design the world, all do all that stuff together, and really kind of have fun with it. And then, you know, if what I'm trying to do is kind of design a campaign setting with some stuff in it as a framework, and then and other DMs can use that if they want to make, and I'll just make it publicly available. I'm not trying to sell it or anything. I just awesome. Like the fun of world building.
Yeah.
I'll be doing some maps too.
Like, the whole reason behind all was I have always wanted to do a campaign in hell as a setting, and it's funny because, like, with doing multiple tables, it makes those types of builds that much easier, because there's so much more that's required, so you get that much more variety in what you're doing. Like, I've got, I don't know, some crazy amount of walls. I want to say I've got like 50 feet to 100 feet of, like, just walls for hell, and then I've got maybe 20 to 40 feet that are just cage walls. So
wow.
Like, I could do like a whole table, like the Diablo game. Like, one of the levels is like a whole prison, and it's a massive area, and it's like I could pretty much just reproduce an entire 4x6 table of nothing but cells.
Right, that's cool. That's really cool.
I want with mine, I want it to be on a very grandiose scale. Well, this is alarming.
What?
Is the brown? Well, I picked up some brown spray paint, and it had a flat colored cap, so I'm assuming that it's a flat color finish. And I have a very brown, wet tree, apparently.
Oh no.
Well, if you want it slimy, got that.
Well, there you go.
I'm hoping somewhere. I'm going to set the timer in my kitchen for 10 minutes, and we'll just hope by the time that goes off that becomes a flat.
Yeah, and I'm kind of waiting a little bit for mine to dry. It's still drying up a little before I go on to the next stage. So, in the meantime, I'll show you just a quick hit. So this is the first map I made for the world building I'm doing. So I started with just an idea, and most of the campaign is going to take
gorgeous.
It's going to take place in this area. But then I went ahead and built this whole rest of the world because I figured if I'm going to make one campaign, then I can use this world and we can just build it all out and make all these cool places. And so I've tried to make all these varied things. And like the center area is like the big thing that happened in the history of the world that kind of changed. It was the tipping point for the world. The
That's
the blasted
awesome.
lands, and
That's fantastic.
but you know, I want to get with people and we'll just sit and do the world building and bounce ideas off each other and build this world up and make a place where we can make campaigns and adventures and stuff out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm going to start that pretty soon, the next week or two. I just got to find the right slot for it.
I'm making a lot of desert. Well, I did, and this was supposed to be the year of making desert, and it just didn't work out. But I traced out the size of the Hearst Arts pyramid foam or regular plaster bricks, but I set it up on my saw for foam. I literally cut enough bricks that I figured out I could do a pyramid 3 feet by 3 feet by 2 feet tall.
Oh my lord!
If I used it all for like one build, but what I was about doing was doing it in layers, where I could take it apart and build other structures with it with some of the pyramid forms in it, but also put it together to form a giant pyramid where you could literally run a dungeon adventure. Like I figured 2 feet tall and about 2 inches a layer. I figured there's like about 3 layers or 3 bricks per layer. So it'd be like 9 layers from like the tip of the top down to the very base of it.
Oh my gosh!
And do like an entire dungeon inside of a pyramid.
Wow, that's cool.
I tend to think in grandiose scales.
Yeah. Man, I can't imagine how long that would take to put together.
am very unhappy right now. I don't think this is going to ever look dry. That's okay, I'll black bomb it. Or I'll just get another brown. Problem is it'll be in the recesses, which is gonna poopy. But whatever.
Well, you can always matte coat it and.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just black bomb it after this. It'll be easiest for like the recesses.
Right. Well, I figured
how
I'm
much
just
bigger one tree is than the other. I mean, when you look at them, it's like just one more sheet of foil. But there was a lot more glue that I used. I think I probably used 2, maybe 3 glue sticks to make this tree.
Yeah.
I went like 5. So the mass is completely, different. But that's fine because glue is cheap. I mean, I buy them in packs of 40 and 50 at a pop.
Well, and mine I think is a lot heavier on glue. I didn't use very much aluminum, but most of my bulk is coming from glue.
Right.
And maybe that's a mistake, but it seems to be working out okay. I think it made it more fleshy.
It'll definitely make it more interesting, I think.
It's certainly a different looking tree. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah. Nothing natural at all about it.
It is a
I
weird
like it
looking
though.
thing.
The concept, passes the test. The concept works.
Yeah. I'm kind of liking the textures that are coming out of here because it looks melted almost.
Exactly.
It looks like, I mean, not to be gross, but it looks like melted flesh, really.
Right. Right. I mean, it's perfect for chaos.
Yep. And that's essentially. So if you're going for that look, the thing to do is just lay a bunch of glue on here and let it drip, because that's where I'm getting a lot of that melty flesh texture from.
Yeah, this thing is drying at a gloss. Wow.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
It can always be fixed.
Right. The nice thing is I had some flat spots on the glue, but it's set up where I think it'll actually, a figure can just stand on it.
Oh, that's nice. This kind of reminds me of that. I don't know what the official name is, but in Harry Potter, that clubbing tree that was beating the crap out of that car.
I never saw that.
Huh.
I think I've only seen like 1 or 2 of the Harry Potter movies. Apparently, I need to go check that out.
The Whomping Willow. Yes, thank you, Fairy Board.
The Whopping Willow.
Because it had those. It had like its branches were like maces. They were, had these big, huge bulbs on the end, and they were big, thick things.
I gotta look that up on YouTube. That just sounds amazing.
Oh, it's great. But I mean, this thing, because of the bulk I've got here, it kind of reminds me of that. And that tree kind of had, I mean, you could tell it was a tree, but it still had kind of a texture that was a little smoother than I would have expected from bark.
Well, dropped $4 on spray paint. I suppose I could use it for like, I don't know, bog water.
Well, I've done that before too. In fact, I bought a big thing of Mod Podge to make a base mix for, and then realized and Mod Podge ain't cheap. And then I realized I had accidentally gotten the gloss.
Oh.
So I've got this huge thing of Mod Podge mix with Mod Podge and black paint that I use to base a lot of things, and it's gloss. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna just throw that away because that's expensive. So I just put it. I just let it be gloss, and then I just bomb it with some matte, clear matte, and it's perfectly fine.
Clear matte. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's what I should hit this with.
Yeah, just some clear matte.
Have some. Problem is matte varnish isn't cheap either.
It's not, no, but it typically
it saves the problem though.
Yeah. Well, what I've discovered is with that stuff, all you have to do is just lightly spray it, because all you need is enough of it to break the gloss up, and that gets rid of the glossiness.
Gotcha.
So you don't really have to cake it on. You just need to give it a couple light sprays.
Yeah, I'll have to try that out. See if that works. Because I like the color tone of brown. I just don't like the gloss of it.
Yeah.
Because the deeper the brown, the more you can work up your shades.
Right. Exactly.
I'm
So I've got a
curious.
little bit of drying left to do here, but it's getting pretty dry. Then I'm gonna put some brown on it.
Let's see if we can make a.
This is a pretty fun little project, Bill.
Ah, thank you.
I like this.
Let's see if I can get this to work with that.
Not what I was expecting to do today, but I'm pretty happy that I did.
So, what do you think?
Oh, that's cool. That's gonna be fun on a board. Get a bunch of those things. Oh wow.
Yeah, that actually worked.
Nice.
Hooray!
Isn't that cool, chat? I like that.
Creepy cultists and creepy trees. And then you can do something like that. So now you've got, actually, I'll face it more to you.
That's
Way up
cool.
the.
Oh man. Sweet.
I like to play.
Story of O. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel, welcome to the chat. Hope you're having fun. We've got Terrainaholic with us here today. We are building some trees out of aluminum foil and hot glue. While he's building trees, I'm making a mess.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Yours are bigger and more impressive than mine. I need a ballista.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because.
Yeah, Story of O. It is fun. I love the terrain making stuff because you can do a lot of really cool things with not much money, just a little bit of patience. So that's what we do a lot here. And we've got, Terrainaholic was awesome enough to come hang out with us this week, so we're learning some new stuff from him.
Fun.
Having
there's
some
a cat.
fun. Oh, nice.
Kerpow.
Sweet.
I love it when they've got these certain problems. Like, okay, so you come onto the rocks are being hurled at you. Do you charge the dire wolf to try and get up there and stop them?
Right.
I
That's a
love
problem.
these little math problems in there.
You better have a really good ranger with you.
Exactly.
Let's see. I need a fireball. Yep, that'll do it. The
Fireball
Pringlemancer.
is perfect, right?
Pringlemancer could take
Fireball
it.
solves almost every problem. Except for treasure. If there's anything, like any scrolls or anything, you can kiss those goodbye. But
Yeah.
solves a lot of problems.
Man, I'm running out of browns here. I gotta hit the store. Uh-oh. So we'll see what I can do with some brown on this thing. See how this comes out. We'll get a good layer of brown on it. Uh-oh. I don't think I'm gonna have enough brown here. Don't worry, chat. It's fine. We'll make it work. Never fear, chat. You know how we do here. We just make it work.
Now I'm adding my Herstarts bits. I should have black bomb, but
So I'm just going to do a thin layer of brown here, fairly thin paint, and then just leave the black in the very deepest bits. And just slop it on. I'm not being careful at all here about this layer. Yeah, I actually do a lot of foam work too, Story. And, you know, painting, I wasn't good. Well, I'm still not great at painting, but you start learning how to do things to get by, and once you start learning some techniques, it turns out it's not that difficult, really.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this is coming out fairly...
Really making the recesses pop.
Get more and more detail here as we lighten up these areas. I'm liking this this whole face thing.
How did you make that?
Yeah, I like that face.
Because it's just kind of a face.
Exactly.
How'd you make
This is aluminum foil with some hot glue over it. That's all it is.
Did you burn yourself?
No, I wore my gloves. One of my kids. Did you burn yourself?
The only kid that you'll ever
My
see on
kids
this.
would be like, "Do you have all your fingers?"
Yeah.
Oh, I can put one of my buildings behind this.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Maybe 2. There's a little swamp house.
Ooh, let's see this. Oh, that's cool. I like it.
Building a diorama. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna black bottom this bed. Give it a nice brown dry brush, highlight. I may not put any foliage on. It's so much more useful out, because I wouldn't be able to put these on here
Right.
with the foliage.
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, I'm not going to put any foliage on here, but I may use some of that batting to put kind of some...
Sure, yeah,
a little bit of webby stuff. But I certainly don't want any green on this, because it's... I mean, this thing is dead.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
thinking
it's...
I should do this in shades of like gray to white.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be, yeah, I think that would really make it more interesting. Maybe I'll just re-bomb these in like a dark gray and then just work it up in whites. I think that's what I'm going to do.
That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to make a bunch more of these.
Oh yeah, undead tree. Well, that's kind of what I'm going for here. Is kind of after I saw this texture of this hot glue, I'm thinking like zombie tree.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen that before, but
familiar with Warhammer. It's very nurgly.
yeah, and I'm not, you know, I'm the D&D person. I don't do a whole lot of wargaming stuff, so I'm not terribly familiar with all the Warhammer things.
Okay, got it. Okay, yep.
I mean, I know a
very
bit.
much into disease and pus and that kind of thing. So this screams nurgle, 40K or fantasy either. That's a great thing about demons is they use almost the same figure line, because even in the future, demons still use axes.
Oh,
I like what you got going. Oh man, those recesses, fantastic.
oh thanks.
Really gives it a lot of depth.
This is coming out. Yeah, and I'm gonna do some more layers here. I'm trying to get just this base brown on here. But I'm gonna try to figure out how to get some reds in here because I really want this to look like fleshy, gooey.
Mm-hmm. Do you wash this when you paint? Just curious.
Do I? I'm sorry.
Do you use washes when you paint?
I do. Yes, quite a bit.
Yeah, I really don't. That's still kind of a new trick to me. Because I'm thinking washes might be another way to really bring out the depth in this.
Oh yes, absolutely. I would highly recommend throwing a wash on there. So yeah, what I do is if you get just black paint and a lot of water and like 2 drops of dish soap in it to break up
okay.
that breaks up the surface tension and then it'll flow real well into the I mean you can get flow aid, the commercial stuff, but that's basically all it is dish detergent without the bubbles because it's just to break up the surface tension of a liquid.
Now, do you have any problems with your washes being glossy?
Not really. I mean, sometimes they'll get a little, maybe I'd call it satin.
Sure, right.
But it's not really a problem because when I do that, then I go back and I'm doing things like this. Now I don't have to do a wash here because I started with black, and I mean I can't wash it any darker than that. But I do I did washes on that tower to get in between the rocks and stuff because I couldn't just base it really well. And that helped. And plus also because I initially put a lot of bright colors on the stones, the purples and blues and stuff. It looked really garish, and so then you use a wash to kind of mute it down and blend it.
Right. Yeah, I think Sue's gonna like this, which is good because then I can put her to work making more. The evil DM in me.
Yep. Yeah, this is a fun project. I like this. Maybe they're not trees. Maybe they're the petrified tentacles of a giant aboleth coming out of the ground where it crashed.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah. Story of O. He has the lore today. Mod Podgetry? No, actually, all this is Terrainaholic taught us how to do this out of. It's just aluminum foil. Just some cheap old aluminum foil, and you twist it up and smush it up, and then you start into little bits, and then you start covering it with hot glue. So this is all just aluminum foil, hot glue, and paint. That's all we've got here. So yeah, so I gotta wait for mine to dry a little bit, but so Bill, are you having fun today?
Oh my god, I'm in my element. Feels like my mini wargaming days.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah, this is fun. I appreciate you coming on today, man. This was.
Oh, no problem.
This was a fun
I'll
thing.
be happy to come back again if you want me.
Oh, absolutely. We'll have you back. Also want to see if we can get you live streaming on your channel too, so you can do more stuff. Hey, thanks for the follow, Story. Appreciate that. Alrighty. So I think I'm at a point now where I'm really going to be sitting around waiting for things to dry a lot.
Yeah.
Until I get to the dry brushing stage. So now comes the detail work. Now comes the part that you don't like.
Well, actually, I can take this back downstairs and black bomb it.
Yeah.
Because that Actually, looking at this, I can probably set this up to the. See if I can do this. Roof.
That's cool.
A little bit of a different look.
That'd be such a fun thing to play on. I mean, just that little bit has a lot of different little opportunities to.
I like the narrative.
Yeah.
You know, where you just kind of put things together and things happen and.
Well, that's one of the things. See, when I make terrain, every piece that I do, I like for it to be able to. Somebody can look at it and create a story in their head about it.
Right.
Without any figures, without any minis, just a piece of terrain, and they can say, "Oh, this is what happened on this piece of terrain," and that it inspires people looking at it to say, "Well, there's a story here."
Right.
Exactly. Even a tree.
Yep.
I'm thinking this tree, because it's got this weird face in it and it's kind of fleshy and stuff, is maybe the.
You could go to Dollar Tree and they have these rollers.
Mm-hmm.
They make great crow's cages. You just start hang a crow cage or two from your tree.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and I got that, like on that.
Here's another. Since we're talking about crow cages.
Oh, cool.
This one I got from DM Scotty. You cut the cardboard.
Right.
So you cut it thin, but then it's got the wavy part in the middle showing. And then what you do, you take toothpicks, and then you slide it through the wavy part at equal intervals. You just cut 2 circles, and then these are just bamboo skewers. And then you cut a couple of flat pieces of card, and you basically just you can hot glue it or regular glue it together, and they make great little crow cages. Just a handful of toothpicks.
That's cool.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of went about. I made a little gibbet for this tower, and I kind of went about it the hard way. But this is all just cardboard. I just cut strips of cardboard.
Okay.
And figured out that, when you're trying to bend cardboard around a circle like this, you want to kind of pre-bend it by.
Sure.
Cut the strip, and then like what you do with ribbons on packages, you run the scissors along them to get them to curl.
Exactly.
I kind of did that with my fingernail just to get it to curl, and then it doesn't bend when you're putting it around. But yeah, I love these kind of things, and I think something like this would look cool hanging off these trees. Probably smaller, a little bit smaller scale, but but yeah, stuff like that.
Oh, you made a pretty beefy tree.
Well, true.
What's the height of that? 2 inches?
Of
the gibbet?
Yeah, about that. I made it so that it would pretty much fit a figure. I mean, this is a kobold, so they're a little short, but it's not even in the camera. But yeah, so it's about figure height, so a little more.
Actually, that tree looks really good next to that tower.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
You could actually use it almost like an ent, where it just defends it.
Ooh.
It's kind of like the perfect security guard, because it just stands there until somebody shows up, and then they're not going to suspect it until it's too late.
Yeah, I like that. I really got to get a side cam in this setup.
It's pretty evident from top down what it's gonna look like. It's gonna look freaking awesome.
But then it's an undead tree.
So it's an evil tower. Hence the given.
Yeah. Well, this is for the evil Pringlemancer. So, with the skulls on it.
That looks good now that it dries.
Yeah, so I'm liking this.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And if I can get some reds and stuff in it.
Oh, that'll look sweet.
Doc Chocolate! Haven't seen you for a while, man. How are you? And welcome. Yeah, story of the cutting the shingles for this thing was yeah, a bit of a pain, but it was the only way I could get this weird shape covered with shingles, because I made this weird shaped roof.
Conical is so hard. People just don't realize how hard conical roofs actually are.
Yeah, and it's something I wanted to push myself to do, and now I don't ever have to do it again.
Exactly. You have photographic evidence that you've done it.
I did it. Don't need to do it again.
Exactly. I actually picked up the conical roof from Hearst Arts just in case I ever had to do one.
Yeah.
The top would weigh a ton, but I don't care.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not like it's difficult. It's just time consuming and tedious.
Very time consuming. Exactly. And the thing is also you made it whimsical, which meant that if you made a mistake, it wasn't as catastrophic. Can you imagine doing a conical roof? You need it to be perfect.
Right.
Oh my God, that would be such a pain in the.
I couldn't do that.
I'm with you.
You know, I tried some new things here, like putting blues and purples and greens in the stone instead of the normal browns and reds.
I like that. Yeah, it makes it look more alive.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to go with, you know, the Pringlemancer just made this kind of grow out of the rocks, so I wanted to try something a little different than normal stuff to make it look a little more magical.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have to have the scrying pool up there.
Talk to Chad for a minute. I got a cool.
Yep.
Something magical in the future.
Oh. How did I do the rocks? This is all just pink foam. Just carved them out. And that's pink foam jammed in there, in between here. And this is just, inside here is a Pringles can and an oatmeal can for structure. That's how we came up with the Pringlemancer. This is all built out of a Pringles can. But yeah, the rocks are just pink foam carved.
If you want to do magical, what do you think of these guys?
Let me get the big view here.
It's called glass stone or something.
Oh yeah, I've seen those things before. That looks
sea glass.
Yeah.
Imagine doing like your normal stone texture cave wall, and then hit it with like a two-tone light blue, and then just hot glue that glass to the wall. I mean, lighting effects all over the place.
Doc Chocolate, that looks like something off Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Right. well, it is for gamers.
Yeah. Oh man. Doc Chocolate. So, you mean you've never used the foam like that? So yeah, the foam. I mean, I carve the foam and then I just cover it with. I've got this jar of mix of Mod Podge and black paint. Oh, you can't see that. I'm not on the right thing. I've just got a big jar of Mod Podge and black paint, and I cover it with that. Yeah, sessions.
Get started on my next. Since it's the theme.
It's for the sessions that go beyond 2 a.m. Yep, gonna need that stuff.
Where is he from?
Doc Chocolate, you're from the island, right? From Britain, if I'm not mistaken. And Story, where are you from, man? We like to know where all the peoples are that we're talking to. It's kind of fun.
Absolutely.
So Doc's from the UK, yep.
Nice.
And Story's from Philly. Cool. We don't have anybody from the Philly area yet that's a regular. Well, welcome,
Nice
guys.
pick. Absolutely.
Oh, the paper clay, the Sculptamold type stuff? You mean that dust that you mix with water and it turns into clay?
Never worked with it.
Really? I
Nope.
like it although I did some experiments last week I can talk about. Yeah, I'm actually in Orlando, and Terrainaholic is in Illinois. Oh, make your own. That's cool. Paper, pulp, and glue. How does that work out? I mean, is it pretty much the same as like the commercial stuff? Still waiting for this thing to dry a bit.
Hey, little girl. Yep.
What?
Oh, you did? Oh, you were making comments? I didn't even know. I was busy building.
Under Terrainaholic with me.
All right.
I was,
Hello, Mrs. Terrainaholic.
You want to meet the wife, the Hobbit?
yeah, I mean, I take offense to Hobbit.
Here's the Hobbit. Come over here, Hobbit.
I make offense to Hobbit comments, by the way.
She shaves her feet every day to make us think she's human.
Yeah,
She's
Hobbit.
really not.
How you doing, Sue?
I bought Hobbit shoes.
She had to.
I made Hobbit shoes.
Made Hobbit shoes? Well, you bought Hobbit shoes.
Yeah.
Well, what do you
But I
think of our
haven't-
second
I
tree?
haven't worn. I like. Why is it shiny?
Yeah,
I
it
like
was
that
it was
one
a
better.
it was finish on the cap, so it was supposed to be matte finish paint. If there's matte finish on the cap, and they lied.
I like that.
You like this one better than that one? Is it because it's shiny?
Yeah.
Well,
Shiny
if it
doesn't
was
look-
if it wasn't shiny, would that look as nice as?
Actually, I like that. I mean the brown. More like a tree. That's.
Okay, well, it's
That's
first.
my
It's
opinion.
first tough. This is my toughest critic right here.
Yeah.
That's
him,
my
Sue.
opinion.
See, that's your first mistake. Never ask their opinion.
Right, my opinion costs $800.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Whole lot of OT we better do now, huh?
You know.
What'd you get, the 20?
Yeah, they didn't have
Okay.
All right. So we got to do some more browns here and some reds. I'm gonna see if I can
Do you
get
want to make the next tree?
some reds here. Oh, Terrainaholic's putting the wife to work,
Gotcha.
or he's
But I
trying
didn't.
to.
Right.
Let's see.
As if my vote counts. Could you give me a Sprite, please?
Ooh, this is this could be kind of fun. Chat, I'm having ideas here. Oh, you made a dice tower. Cool. The silicone molds for stuff. I've used some Hearst Arts molds. The silicone molds. I guess that's kind of what you're talking about. I use a few typically for roof stuff, but not much. What about you, Bill? Do you use the do you do much with the silicone molds? Plaster?
Depending on the project, I've made an entire 4x8 tables worth of dungeon terrain out of the fieldstone mold. Yeah, but you know, it can go all the way down to just like bits and bobs, like this barrel here. You know, just scattered terrain. which is really funny because I don't really do scattered terrain because once I'm done with like the big build aspect of it, I'm so burnt out I don't want to go into the other little bits and bobs, which is something I really should do. I actually sat down and made a bunch of them, and I put them in a beads box, and now I have no idea where they are. I can't even use my scatter terrain. I have so many. Do you know where the scatter terrain is? Ooh, can you grab it? Because then I'll put it out where I might notice it.
It's a good thing you're married, Bill.
Oh man, tell me about it.
How did you make it through life before you got married, man?
It wasn't easy. It's hard eating out of garbage cans.
Yeah, tinfoil is turning out. I don't use it much, but it's turning out
It's got a purpose.
really nice, yeah. I mean, I use it a lot. Not for terrain, I should say.
Right.
We use it for cooking and stuff, the things that it's meant to be used for.
Exactly.
The crazy people.
I never do that.
Well, I should say my wife does. Me going in the kitchen is like a health hazard.
These little guys I made from noodles.
Which
Bill
guys?
actually than I do.
These I designed them to look like coral.
That's cool.
Do you want all?
No. I'll just take 10. You take 10, I'll take 10. But all I did was take my hot wire router, which is just basically a hot bendable wire,
Yeah.
and you just cut apart the noodle and then hot glue it into whatever forms and shapes you want. I was using it here to make the foliage, but now that I've seen that I can put my bridge work in trees, I'm definitely not going to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, chat, I'm having a flash here. I'm using this where is it? I've got this terracotta color, which is a reddish brown, because I wanted to bring kind of some reds into this, some fleshy colors, and it's actually working pretty well, I think. I'm kind of liking that.
definitely makes it look fleshy. Almost like muscle.
Yeah. But it's still got the browns in it, so it still looks like a tree. But it's also picking out some cool, and something else that I like is, I don't know if you can see there, but I accidentally left some of the hot glue wisps on, but now they've turned out kind of looking like veins going through the tree because I painted them down and stuff. So that worked. That was a happy accident.
Love that.
Oh, this is a cool project, Bill. I like this. Having fun here.
It just struck me at work. I'm stuck at a machine 10 hours a day, and every once in a while your brain goes, here's an idea.
Yeah, so Doc says it'd be a good tree for a Nurgle garden piece.
Absolutely. Yeah, this screams Nurgle to a Warhammer player.
See, I'm not a Warhammer player, so I had no idea what you guys were talking about, but I'm thinking undead creepy tree for D&D.
Yep.
That's where my hit is. Nurgle is my daddy.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's totally a D&D. I like your avalanche. That is totally D&D. A Warhammer player would not have the slightest idea of what an aboleth is.
Yeah.
One of the coolest monsters ever created for D&D.
This is true. Yeah, that was Story of O came up with that one.
Mm-hmm. So Lovecraftian, you gotta love it.
Yep. I like this face.
What role-playing games have you played?
What's that?
What role-playing games have you played?
Oh, I've done D&D, I've done Pathfinder, I've done Star Wars. I've done, back in the day, I would play lots of stuff like StarCraft and but it's been mostly D&D because I've been playing since first edition, on and off. You know,
Yeah, you've been a couple of years, which not a lot of people can say.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah,
I started
actually,
80, 84, 85. No, 83. I think 83 was when I started. And if you got the red box, you were ahead of me.
yeah, I remember going to a store and picking up the red box. So, hate to tell you this, chat, but I'm older than I look. Well, maybe I'm not. Maybe I think I look younger than I am, and I really don't. I don't know.
You got to keep your hair. Don't bitch. Well, okay.
All right, so now I've got some nice red in this, and as it dries, it's toning down a bit.
What are you painting? Oh, that's a tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's,
This is my version of Bill's tree.
yeah.
You missed my comments earlier. I was Terrainaholic.
Mm.
Oh,
In the chat earlier?
yeah,
That was
I
me.
must have
Ignored
missed it.
He
I
was
was
talking to
thinking-
me.
yeah.
How is Bill typing
I was
this?
sitting at the doctor's office waiting for them, so I was watching.
Cool.
Well, yeah, you'll be happy to know that this is all working out pretty good. We got it going.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely make at least a dozen of these because.
Can I steal this?
Mm-hmm.
You have, you have glue sticks?
I do.
Are these...
Yep. Small caliber sticks. Nope, those are the big ones. Let me see if I can find some small ones.
All right, so I've got some red in here. So
Yeah, I'm gonna look downstairs because I may not have.
oh yeah, there will be a graveyard. Like I started working on this mausoleum last week, which we'll get back to, but you know, I've got the beginnings of a little mausoleum here, and we're going to be doing, that's kind of what I'm working on, is a graveyard thing.
It's all yours.
I don't know if I'm actually going to brown wash it because I'm kind of happy with, I want to keep the red kind of prominent because I'm thinking more like an undead tree. It's fleshy, it's gross, it's decaying, it's, you know, it bleeds blood and it's nasty. So I kind of want to keep the reds up there. In fact, I got just some red because I think I may want to actually put some more in a few places. But I also found this green that I had picked up, this green tea color, and it looks like kind of a rotten flesh color to me.
Oh, that's perfect.
And I'm thinking I may want to try to work some of this in. See how that'll work. If I can get it open.
See, look.
Yeah. So I was looking through my paint, but because I've never even used this color before, obviously, because it was still sealed. But I'm like, this just looks like gross, decaying flesh.
Mm-hmm. I've got
Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, I played Mortal Kombat back in the day. stage.
Yeah, that thing screams what's the word I'm looking for? An encounter, shall we say.
It does. I think this is a good kind of iconic piece. Gotta mix that some more. Whee! All I got out of that first squeeze was medium. Blech.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here, chat. I'm gonna try. I'm getting a little impatient and not letting things dry sufficiently, but you know what? It's fine, chat.
I've been there myself.
I'm gonna try a little bit of this, just kind of around. I don't want to use too much of this stuff, but maybe kind of highlighting some of the facial areas with it. See, I think I may want to water this down a bit. Because I don't want it real stark, I just want... Good news is, if this doesn't work, chat, we can always just paint over it. It's fine, chat. But I just want to bring the face out a bit and make it more of a focal
point. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I said, the other thing you could do, if you find that the tone's a little bit strong, get like a yellow or a red or a green, something that can be like a source of light. And just dab it into the recesses of the eyes, and then just give it a light dry brushing over the...
Yeah. And I think I am going to want to tone this down a bit. I mean, I like that it's kind of bringing things out, but I still want some of that red color showing through. I just want it to be a little... Skeleton hanging from it? Yeah, I think the old gods trees in Game of Thrones. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I'll take your word for it.
I don't watch games. You would think like I would watch Game of Thrones and like the Walking Dead. Like I was gonna start watching The Walking Dead, but I couldn't find episode 1 because I'm like, if I'm gonna watch it straight.
Right.
And it just kind of fell away to the side, and it's like, I can live without it.
Yeah, we watched it, I don't know, maybe the first 4 seasons of it, and then it started getting a little, I don't know, repetitive.
Okay.
I think they kind of ran out of story, and they were starting to stretch a bit, I think. Let's get some of this. Oh, that's actually kind of a neat effect. Because I don't want this to look like a painted face. Right. But I want to have a little bit of extra highlight around there.
Yep. Just bring the eye to it.
So I'm basically just using some really dirty paint water to kind of wet the paint back down and mute it a bit.
There you go.
Yeah, Doc, I think you kind of hit it on the head there. It got to be kind of like a soap opera with zombies. It was, I don't know, just got a little boring for me after a while. I mean, I enjoyed the first few seasons, but I think they just kind of ran dry of story, and I'm big on story, so if it doesn't have any story in it, I get bored with it real easy.
Sure.
Well, this certainly isn't any kind of green anymore, but it's kind of it still blends into the tree, I think, without and highlights the face a bit. Good zombies become good friends. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So now I want to keep some of this red tone in here, but I want to highlight this up. So let's see, I'm going with this raw sienna because that's kind of it's still got some red in it. And I'm going to do a dry brush layer here. Kind of a heavy dry brush, but still. Now I want to use the big brush for this. Let's see what we can mess up here. You with me, chat? Is it all good, chat?
I'm making another tree.
Cool.
Help myself.
Alright, look, chat. I'm gonna let you watch him kind of do this so you can see, those of you who weren't here at the beginning can kind of see where this starts. Because I'm just dry brushing. You've all seen that before.
I'm just taking 1 foot by 1 foot strips and starting my next tree. What I've done is I've coiled them up into like a long tube, and then I folded it back on itself and then twisted the tube all the way up until I get to about a natural Y point, and give it a couple, twists at the end to give it a little more strength. And then 90% of this is literally making vining rods, essentially. You can go with stubbier. You can is that the more glue you put on it, the stronger it gets, and so even relatively rolled together stuff, you put enough glue on it, it's more than strong. And we've got essentially 3 different styles. Terrainoob used a whole lot of aluminum in his build, so his is really, really big and beefy, whereas my very first one, which is this one right here, is really kind of scrawny, and then the one that I just built, kind of a bridge between my first one and his first one. And the thing is you can do as much or as little as you want. I'm making them where they've got roots going down into the water. Utilize it on your table. But there's nothing saying that you can't just regular tree and get like an MDF base and then just mount it to that. Again, if you're going to be using that kind of thing, just be mindful of, if it's card, your paint's going to probably warp it, things like that. But I'm sure he's covered that with you. That's a fairly common problem that all terrain makers in Austin, we all learn to deal with that, pretty early on.
The curling base.
Yes. The cupping, the bowing, all that good stuff.
I've got actually a perfect example of that right here. This is what happens when you put Sculptamold on chipboard. It just
Oh, wow. That is dramatic.
It is, and it's because this Sculptamold stuff. So there's a couple of problems with that Sculptamold. And if you're not familiar with that, chat, that's it's like powdered paper, for lack of a better term, and then you put some water in it, and it becomes like a clay, but it's like paper based, and it's great for sculpting and stuff, but it shrinks a lot when it dries.
Ah, okay.
And so, and it's pretty strong. It's fairly strong stuff.
My next question: is it because of the glue that gives it that kind of strength and rigidity?
No, there's actually no glue in it. It's
really?
Yeah, it's basically just wood fiber. It's like if you took toilet paper and got it wet. It's kind of that kind of thing. Except this comes as more like a dust, but you just mix it up. But it's basically fiber, plant fiber. So it gets really strong when it dries. But
it just adheres to itself?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty sticky when you mix it up. It's almost like it is glue. But it shrinks a lot, so you can't put it on anything that's gonna have any give to it, because it will just do this to it.
Got it.
And you can't. What I tried with this, because this was an experiment, I wanted to see how far this would go. What I tried was I put some heavy stuff on these to keep it flat while it's drying, because you could do that with stuff like white glue, and when it dries, it'll keep it flat. The problem is I put some books on top of this and left it for 3 days, and even this thin little layer wouldn't dry.
Wow.
It was nice and flat, but it was still wet. And I took the books off, and 10 minutes later, this happened. After 3 days of sitting there waiting for it.
Oh, that's
so,
gotta drive
you know.
Yeah, that's gotta drive you nuts.
So,
especially where they're multi-day.
Yeah.
You know, not there yet.
And I was, these pieces specifically were for a test, because I wanted to see what would happen with this basing material. I wanted to see how far this thick chipboard could go. But had I been doing that for a real piece, it would have been aggravating.
Yeah, hugely. I've waited days for a project to end, and it's so frustrating to go through all that work, because you're down days.
Yeah. Humidity doesn't help. No, it didn't. And we just last week had the hurricane fly by, which fortunately didn't do really much in Florida. The Bahamas got blasted, but Florida didn't get much of it. But it did send some humidity our way, for sure. And that didn't help things dry.
No.
Yeah, Doc, the clays and stuff can really have that problem with shrinking too. That's one of the reasons I was trying to kind of experiment with this this stuff, is I was hoping it wouldn't shrink quite as much with this thick board, but yeah, it's just you basically got to have wood under that stuff, or it's gonna curl. If you try to put it in flat things like that.
Going for a slightly different trunk this time. I'm gonna go with a longer trunk than I did before.
Ooh,
I'm going with a looser wrap, because we've both figured out together that the glue more than makes up for the the strength of the aluminum if the aluminum isn't beefy enough.
Right. Yeah, so one of the things that I found is that because I put so much glue on it, I could bend things, but they would pretty much immediately come back to where they were.
Right, right. We also figured out during that what you to counteract, bend it where you want it to be, and then re-hot glue it, forcing it in that new direction.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of learning together on this. I'm sure if you guys are figuring out things that we haven't yet.
Oh, sure. Ever heard of cold porcelain? No, I haven't, Doc. What is cold porcelain? That does sound like something I'd be interested in.
Sorry if you guys are picking up. We live in kind of
Whoops.
lawn mowing community.
An air drying polymer clay you can make with simple household stuff like talc glue and other things. Huh. Have to play with that.
Sounds different.
Oh, chat. This is, so, this green tea color, I wanted to figure out how to use this because I thought it was kind of a cool, gross, green, nasty thing. I was getting ready to do my final highlight here, and I was going to do it with this twill, this really light beige. Then I thought, you know what? What if I do my final highlight with this green tea and make it kind of gross green color? And so far, liking it.
Cool.
That was a good way to work that green in. Yay me!
Well, anything that suggests leprosy just adds.
Yeah. And this is definitely coming out kind of a sickly, because it's a yellowish green, so it's not too far off of the browns for wood. I mean, it's not too far off of
the yellows, right?
But it's got that kind of greenish sick tint.
Perfect.
Which helps. And with the reds that are under it, it's kind of really standing out. Oh, I'm liking this. I like this, chat.
Okay, I will start gluing up stuff yet again.
Woohoo!
Again, the trick is grab the bottom part of the Y and just cover the two the two top arms of the Y, and just keep it away from your hands. The other thing is wax paper is going to be necessary unless you're planning it until it dries. So just a small hunk of wax paper will go a long way to making the project go faster.
Or, like I did, because I'm impatient and I know that I burn myself all the time, you get yourself some gloves like this that you can,
go. Right.
you know,
Yep.
and so then I can glue my gloves all over the place like I did, and I don't, you know, burn my fingers off. Safety first, kids.
Yeah, you never know how important fingers are until you burn them.
Yeah, because I did that a few weeks ago. 8 fingers, second-degree burns on the fingertips, and Pretty much lost the use of them. I couldn't use them at all for like 2 or 3 days.
Oh, jeez.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Burns are really painful. So, safety first, kids. Please.
Absolutely. True intelligence is learning from other people's mistakes.
Uh-huh. And true insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So, chat, I hope this kind of inspires you to try things on your own. I mean, Bill just thought of this, you know, using aluminum foil to twist up trees and throwing some hot glue on it, and it turns out you can do some pretty sophisticated, cool stuff with this.
It is one of the few things, because usually, and then you go to do it, and then it doesn't work out. This is one of the few things that actually it worked pretty much to plan, if not better than planned.
Yeah, which is always the bonus.
Yeah, because usually, and I even looked up aluminum trees before I did this project. I mean, I thought of it on my own, but then I went and I checked around. Pretty much, no one did it this way. Because the reason you want to go check is because, again, you want to learn from other people's mistakes. It's like, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I just want a wheel.
Right.
If that's what you need. And so I went, and there just wasn't anything there that's reasonably close to what I'm trying to accomplish. I bet you any money Scotty's got a video on doing this somewhere. I just haven't ran it.
Well, I know he's got things on doing trees, and he uses a lot of hot glue, but I've never seen... I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I have never seen anybody using aluminum foil as a structure for this. Of course, you see the copper wire twisted trees and stuff like that all over the place, but yeah, I haven't seen this.
What's funny is there are guys out there that are so good with texture. They run across it, they're gonna just put me to shame. There are some people out there that just have amazing technique.
Oh yeah.
Mediums that they work with. I mean, I've seen Scotty, and it's so funny. You look at him working, and it looks like he's just dragging a hot wire or a hot glue gun over whatever it is he's working on. And when you're looking at him, it looks like he's doing the same thing, but when you see different surface structures he pulls out, it's just mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, he's I've seen him. It looks like you get this. He makes this stuff. He starts dragging hot glue all over the place, and you're thinking, what kind of garbage is he doing? And then he slaps a coat of paint on it, and you're like, that's brilliant.
Right, yeah. It just blows my mind. The other thing that I found out with Scotty is that he problem solve in opposite directions. And because I saw one of his videos, he's this, and he kind of tells you, at least back then, he would kind of tell you the steps he was going through before he'd actually do it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to work. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna wait till the point where it doesn't work, and then I'll go to another video.
Mm-hmm.
And he did it once, and it was like a magic trick. You know, once he did the magic trick, it's like, oh my god, I got to see another magic trick. And then he's like, okay, now I'm going to do this, and it sounded even more preposterous than the first thing he did. And it's like, okay, this is for sure gonna fail. And so I'm watching, and he makes this amazing thing, and I at that point it was like I just was like a junkie. I must have watched like 50 of his videos
Right.
and just got more respect for that guy and it's so funny because like I how he does it, but we attack problems from exact opposite directions.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see someone else's, you know, to have all that success, even way better success than I would have had using my method in my direction. And it was so cool. I love Scott. He's so freaking talented.
Yeah, he is. And one of the things that I always loved about doing this was that, you know, like when I started watching you guys, you and the Camloopian and all those other guys, I didn't have a lot of tools and a lot of the things that you guys had.
Right, and that
And
makes it super hard.
Yeah, I'd see you doing something. I'm like, well, I don't have that tool, or I don't have that kind of foam, or I don't have this, so I'm going to have to figure out a different way to do it.
Exactly.
And then, you know, this community of people starts figuring out different ways to do stuff because of the equipment they have.
Right.
And it just...
That's what I love about Terrain Tutor. Terrain Tutor's got more than enough money at this point that he could buy all sorts of the toys that I use all the time. But because his community that he serves is people that just don't have a lot of the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And so he finds out all these, you know, like he'll go in and steak knife and it's like, I'm gonna show you how to do rock face. Whereas with me, you know, I've got, you know, specific tools to do that.
Right.
And it's so neat to see the problem solving from another perspective.
Yeah, I've always been fascinated with that. And that's one of the things that I, you know, like the biggest tool that I have for any of this stuff is a Proxxon hot wire cutter. I rarely use it. So, you know, but that's the biggest thing I have. And I only use that if I'm doing like weird angle cuts that I need to be accurate so I can angle the wire and get it the same.
Yeah, that's where that tool really shines.
Yeah.
I've got it so easy because I'm using wood cutting tools, which are designed for precision in the very design of the tool.
Right.
So it's so funny because it's like I'll ship stuff to people and they're like, "Did you cut this with a laser?" I'm like, "Nope." Just I mean, essentially they're doing the same thing, and they even have similar finishes. I can see where they draw that conclusion from.
Yeah.
A lot of things out there that we're working with are natural. You know, wood has a grain to it, so does foam, and so there's a lot of ways that you can make things look natural that aren't even approaching natural.
Right. Well, and that's kind of the fun, is being able to see these different materials, but at least for me, and figure out ways to do stuff that other people aren't doing because you don't have the tools that they have or
Right.
the materials they have. And that for me becomes the fun of how am I going to do this when I don't have what they have that showed me how to do it.
Right. One of the things I love to do, like I've been watching a lot of Bloodborne lately, and when people make computer games, they tend to use a lot of plates. They have to make the shapes to put stuff together. So as I'm watching the video game, my brain is always going in the background. Okay, how would I make this shape? How would I make that shape? How would you know, everything that's interesting that pops up, my brain just automatically kicks into problem solving mode.
Right.
And it's just it's fun to do because I can think about it. I don't have to. It's actually like being lazy and living vicariously someone else's experience.
Right. Well, and then also you have the kind of fun of it makes shopping very different too, because you'll go in and you'll like I'll go to the dollar store or something and I'm looking at those little the fake gold rings that you can get a huge pack of fake gold rings, and I'm like, those aren't gold rings, that's trim for this fancy building.
Or for pillars,
Yeah.
ornamentation pillars.
Or I'm going and looking at finding. One of the things I used to do is I'd go through the at the dollar store, go through the section that had all the beauty stuff in it, makeup and all that stuff.
Great stuff in there.
But I wasn't actually looking for the makeup and stuff. I was looking for the shapes of the blister packs that they were in.
Oh, sure.
Because I would take those, I would take those and pour plaster them and make all kinds of weird things.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've definitely done that. And it's great because those molds, I mean, unless it's the weight of the plaster warping it itself, they pop out so easy.
Right.
You can just keep using them over and over and over again. That's one of the great things about really flexible, very thin molds.
Yeah. But, that kind of stuff, when you get into this hobby, that kind of stuff, for me anyway, made shopping fun again, because I was in there seeing things completely differently than I used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the dollar store looking at weird-shaped toothpicks going, ooh, that's the top of a gravestone right there.
Exactly.
5% of driving.
Driving?
Yeah.
Oh, my wife, we've had to make a lot of gravestones, because people buy them, and my wife was bored with normal gravestones, so she got into, whenever we would drive past the cemetery, she would really be watching, because she's looking for new shapes that she can make her stuff in. That's kind of morbid, but
Well,
yeah. Yeah, she would actually. Okay, that's a boring graveyard. She liked a lot of the older ones where they have the more ornate.
Yeah. Like
stones.
the mausoleum type stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is Hearst bricks, the Gothic bricks, are so perfect for that.
Yeah, they are.
You can put almost any shape together you want, and it works. Fantastic. I've got literally a bag. My goal is to make 300, and I don't know why I chose 300, but I'm figuring that's probably enough to cover a 4x6 table. But I want to do an entire graveyard table with 300 plus gravestones.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I've always meant to do it. It's just one of those bucket list things that eventually you get to.
Yeah, mix some.
The kitchen is out of range for.
Are you doing the floor? Okay.
Mix some mausoleums and stuff into the graveyard, and some statues, and.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
All right, I've got my first round of my third tree going.
So you guys can see how quick these trees are coming together. I mean, I'm spending a whole lot of time painting it, but putting it together is quickie
really
fast.
And again, just know where you started making them, and they'll be cool enough for you to jump right back in them and do what you need to do.
Okay, I'm trying something here, Chad. I'm gonna put a mix of red and that gross green and see if I can get some nasty looking eyes in there.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Just so they kind of stick out, but it's still... Also, I want to kind of put some of this in some of these bits to get that kind of fleshy color in there. Ooh.
It's kind of fun when you do one. It's like, well, I want to make a bigger tree this time.
Yeah.
I'm finding myself one-uppingmanships myself.
Competing with your own self.
Right?
Alright, so Chad, I'm now just kind of taking... Because I've made basically kind of a sick pink here. So I'm just kind of getting some of that in some of the crevices and stuff to kind of give it this look of fleshy grossness. A Beetlejuice gravestone, that'd be fun. So I don't know, I might be screwing this all up, chat, but guess what?
That's what black spray paint is for.
Yep. As we say here all the time, it's fine, chat. Because I'm just trying to get a little bit of color into this tree.
That's the one thing I've never been really brave with is, and a lot of it comes from having an eBay store. Like literally, I use the same colors now to make the same train I did 10 years ago. If someone bought my stuff 10 years ago, something like this year, I want the colors to match.
Right.
You get too creative with your colors, you can't, do that. But I'm so envious of you guys with the colors that you guys put together and make it, because I'm doing stuff that was standard, 10 years ago, and that's not the standard today.
Right.
Beginners today, know that you mix some browns in with your stone or greens, or because those colors are out there in nature. They are.
Right.
Just they're not prominent doesn't mean they're not there.
Exactly. Yeah, like realistic stones are very rarely gray.
Yeah, and they got tons of additional colors mixed in.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to think all the colors, all the pigments we get are from something in nature at some point. So
right.
You're going to find all these colors in nature somewhere.
They had the most unrealistic looking lichen. It was like purple lichen, and I don't mean kind of purple. I mean it was screaming purple lichen, and I'm thinking to myself, there is nowhere in nature that exists. And we were driving through the Colorado mountains, and I look up the side of the mountain, and there's brush, and it's purple, like the same shade of purple. I just started laughing. It's like, okay, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, it's amazing what colors you can find.
It was so alien,
Right. Well, I don't know, like the painted desert out in New Mexico.
Yeah,
I think New Mexico.
That's
but I mean,
purple.
Yeah, you got a million different colors in there. So,
right.
And that's all natural stuff, and it almost looks like somebody went and painted it, but
totally, yeah. That's why they call it the painted desert.
So
driving to Colorado was just awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
Well, it's weird because like you'll drive and you'll see one type of rock formations. It's a certain color, it's a certain texture, and then you go in like a quarter-mile long tunnel. So you're only a quarter mile away from what you were just looking at, and then you come out of the tunnel, and the stone's a completely different texture and a completely different color.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre. I'm like,
Why you were there?
I look like different state, and I've only gone, a quarter mile.
Right.
It's a different valley, but it's got a completely different look. It's just insane.
Yep.
Tell them why you were there.
Oh, her dad's, my wife's dad's 90th birthday party,
Oh, wow.
and I got super sick.
My father drove to Colorado. His 90th birthday.
Yeah.
He lives in Illinois.
He is
Oh, my gosh.
fearless.
That's crazy.
Going on 50.
Yeah, maybe 30. He does like watercolor paint. He goes all over. He's gone all over, and he does golf. That guy is more active in 90 than I am at my age.
Yeah.
Crazy. It makes me feel pretty good though, because it's okay. 90, maybe, just maybe, I can be that active at 90.
Maybe.
I doubt it. I think they just made people tougher back in those
You
days.
can also have two girlfriends then. I'll let you.
What's that?
You can have two girlfriends.
I can
Yeah, at age 90?
at age 90.
Sure.
It inspires me to live that long.
You heard it here first, chat. At age 90, you're allowed 2 girlfriends.
Hey, my dad started out as a Mormon and became a Catholic, so just saying, we're in very dangerous territory, chat. Just to let you know, we're in very dangerous territory.
Well. Okay, so this is becoming kind of cool. Something I've just discovered here is that the way that the hot glue works with all the wisps and stuff is it ends up kind of looking like veins. And if you pick those out with a little bit of pink, things get really interesting.
I was gonna say something earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. One thing you could possibly do is take your hot glue gun, put it on the tree at a certain location,
Mm-hmm.
and then draw it out and let it make a wisp, and then let it dry, and then paint that separately, a different color, and then just wrap it around the tree paint. Because then you wouldn't have to color bleed.
This is true. Because I am getting some of that. I mean, if I was being really careful, I could probably pick these out, but it would take a while. That would be much easier.
The dimensions are so tiny. Okay. 2, 4, 6.
I was kind of worried that this pink wasn't going to work very well in here, but it does, I think.
Well, once they get the initial concept of this is flesh-like, the brain will just fill in the holes, the dots.
Yep. And what's nice is the hot glue did all this work for me. All I got to do is paint it.
Right.
So that's a good thing. I don't know. What do you think, chat? Am I screwing this all up, or?
Oh, he's got people from all over. He's got one of his artists from Australia. She's there. What's that?
She come back? Or was that...
Oh, no, maybe you're right.
I was there then.
Sure. Let me just hit this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I do it for you?
So are we having fun here, chat? Are you enjoying this? I think this is a kind of cool project. What do you think? What do you guys think? This is turning out much better than I had ever thought that a bit of aluminum foil and some hot glue could turn out. But hey, you know, you don't know until you try, right?
You know what I'm starting to think now? I'm starting to think Kraken.
Ooh, yeah.
Because one of the things, you can get pony beads like really, really, really cheap, and they're perfect for like suckers. And
oh, yeah.
this looks like flesh anyways. So, ta-da! And then the other thing you can do,
Perfect.
you get a box of toothpicks, and you cut the tips off. You can do suction cups and spikes,
Oh, yeah.
and really go to town.
Beautiful. That would be awesome.
It's always good to take a technique, see how many different ways you can apply it.
Yep. Because I guarantee somebody who sees this is going to figure out even something completely different to do with this.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And that's the best part of the hobby.
And gosh, I hope I get to see it.
Do you think that there are less people doing tutorials now, or?
I don't know that there's less people. I think they're just doing it differently. And because
how so?
it's still kind of crowded on there, that space.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But they're doing bigger production stuff. See, because when we were, when I was starting out and when you were doing it and stuff, it was just, throw a camera up and screw the lights and screw the scripts and screw just, we're just here doing some crap. And now it's getting a little more produced. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's changed.
Yeah, the production value has definitely gone way up. I mean, look at all the hours put into production. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That's like, that's another job. And that's just the editing part. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, well, even back when I was doing it, I was doing 8 to 16 hours a week on editing.
Yeah, that's like another part-time job.
Right. And now, even with the live streaming, I'm predominantly just live streaming, still takes quite a bit of work.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Fortunately, not as much after work. Most of it is figuring out how to do different setups like this today. I spent a few hours last night trying to figure out how I was going to get your video pulled in. But it was something I wanted to figure out how to do. So,
right.
Because I can use this kind of setup more, and now it's a new thing in my bag of tricks, which is good. But yeah, I think one of the reasons I started streaming here is because there weren't a lot of people live streaming and doing real-time chat stuff, because I wanted to get back into the hobby after taking a break. And I was like, I was coming back looking at YouTube going, gosh, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing edited videos because there's a lot of people already doing that, and they don't need another one. So,
right.
But there was nobody really live streaming much and doing it. They're just certainly not on Twitch, and Twitch is starting to expand beyond gamers more and more. So that was good. But
the wife sent you a message.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to Bill about seeing about getting him live streaming on YouTube, because he could do it.
Well, they said something about they've got to have the people that are watching have to have the same hardware or something, or software or something. Did you hear about that?
On YouTube? Well, see, I don't stream to YouTube because I'm not a huge fan of YouTube.
Gotcha.
As them changing policies so much, it just got confusing. That was another thing that kind of set me off, or got me away from it. Is it just got too confusing to keep up with their policy changes all the time.
Good.
But I mean, you could go on Twitch and do it. Twitch is just as simple. I actually like it better. But
Gotcha.
you know, you've already got your YouTube channel and stuff, and so that may be an easy kind of thing. All right, so well, I'm actually kind of pretty happy about how this thing came out. I mean, I got a nice iconic creepy tree out of this for nothing.
Yeah, practically, yeah. Stuff that was sitting in your kitchen.
I mean, and you know, I didn't have high hopes for this, but if I put this on a base and you know, get a good base on it and stuff, that's a really cool looking piece, I think. I'm really happy.
Awesome.
So well, I think it's about time for me to go get some lunch, my man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you hanging out, and I appreciate you bringing some audience with you. And Sue, thanks for working with me this week to get this all set up.
No problem.
Appreciate that. And I'm sure we'll do it again.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep. Just let me know. We'll hook it up.
Yeah, I'll hook up with you maybe later today after the stream and after some lunch.
Sounds good.
And we'll get some more stuff going. I hope you guys in chat enjoyed this. It was a real pleasure having Bill here, Terrainaholic. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. He's got some really cool stuff up there, and he does a lot of really good interviews with a lot of industry bigwigs. So if you want to find out the goings-on behind the scenes, that's the channel to check out. youtube.com/Terrainaholic. And make sure that you like and subscribe on this channel. Mash all the buttons, ding all the bells, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, so that you can get all the notifications and all the good behind-the-scenes stuff. And until next time, guys, build on.